Tower Panther 1 taking active runway 34. Rolling takeoff. Hey guys, JoNay here. So I'm flying again. This is Battle for Balkans. I forget what day it is actually. I'll put that into the video after. I think it's day 9 or something. This is a solo flight of mine, so there's not going to be much radio chatter. So much like my Lone Ranger video in Battle for Sinai, I've decided to add a little bit of post-processing, director commentary or whatever you want to call it for this mission. Just to give you an insight into my thought process and what's happening in this flight. So I'm in a Block 52 Plus, which I've absolutely fallen in love with over the last few days of flying. It's the model with conformable fuel tanks. It just carries a ton of gas. You have over 17,000 pounds before takeoff, and the engine is just so powerful. This thing is such a beast. So right now I'm pitching up to 20 degrees, and I'm locked in at full afterburner, climbing very fast, and it's not really slowing me down at all. This is no problem. My loadout consists of also two 2,000-pound JDAMs and 4 long sticks, as well as 3 external fuel tanks, so centerline and 2 wing bags. Quick sit rep here. Blue Force is losing this war, much like the last one. Red Force is winning, and one of the reasons for that is Red Side's Air Force is just extremely active, and I'm not just talking about their human pilots, but their AI flights are fragging tons of heavy bomber missions, as well as
fucking shit.
What I'm laughing about there is I forgot to set my wings to feed first, which is something a mistake I make on almost all my flights. About 2/3 of my flights, at least, I forget to do that. But that's no big deal, when I get down below a certain gas threshold, I'll just jettison my center line before the wing bags, which is a little bit, backwards, but whatever. So as I was saying, Red Force's Air Force is just extremely active. Bomber flights and light bomber or light attack fighter flights are constantly hammering our flot, coming over on our side and just killing everything on our side. So the idea for this mission is I want to take out Banjaluka, which is an AI airbase pretty close to the flot, where Su-25s take off out of, and that's a pretty important base. I want to take it down to 0%, make sure no Su-25s are coming out of there for the next few hours at least. So I go ahead and check the fuel level of my center line. It is indeed at 0, which means I can safely selectively jettison that center line tank now and reduce my weight and drag. So like I said, I've got 2 2,000-pound JDAMs on this thing, and I've pre-reconned the base, and I've locked in 2 out of 3 of the runway segments into my target steer points, which are target steer points 11 and 12. In Falcon, as long as you take out 2 out of 3 of the segments of a runway, you can bring that base down to 0%. So the idea is to get in high, fast, and pickle off both bombs in one pass, and then successfully get the hell out of there and try to take down any other targets of opportunity. So it's a pretty long ingress into the target area, so I'm going to fade out here and come back. And we're back, about 10 or 15 minutes later, much closer to the target area now. So I go ahead and request a vector, or request a picture from Sentry.
Sentry 1, Panther 1-1. Request vector to threat.
Panther 1, Sentry 1. Nothing's up right now.
Sentry says nothing's up. I'm about 64 miles away from the push point. I'm at 34,000, a little bit over Mach. Trying to figure out if I have a window now to just burn my way in and drop my payload. But as soon as Sentry says picture's clear, I notice a set of strobers just off to the left of my target steer point, which is the white triangle in my FCR.
Sentry 1, Panther 1-1. Request vector to threat.
Panther 1, Sentry 1. Nearest hostile, MiG-31, bullseye, 040, 100 miles, 32,000.
So sure enough, I've got MiG-31s in the area, but they actually don't seem to be the Strobers like I thought they were. They actually, according to the coordinates that Sentry just gave me, they seem to be directly over my target steer point, which is going to be problematic. It means I'm going to have to engage these MiG-31s now to punch a hole in their defenses for me to successfully drop my bombs. So I start checking right. I don't want to fly directly at the steer point. I want to, keep my speed up, but also slow down my ingress a little bit. See if I can pick up the targets and hold them kind of more off to my left gimbal a little bit. And then there they go. They pop up on my FCR at about 60 miles out because, MiG-31s are pretty large. You can pick them up from about 60 miles range. And I've got my radar beam narrowed a little bit. I'm spotlighting in that area, trying to get faster refresh rate. And there they are. They're locked up about 50 miles out. And they seem to see me as well. We've got 1,000 knots closure. They're tracking me, so I go music on. Trying to get my speed up as high as I can. They seem to be at about 33,000. I'm at 35, Mach 1.2. So I've got a little bit of an energy advantage on them, but it's not huge. At this point, we're 42 miles out. The closure rate is very high, about 800 knots. Magic Panther 1 committing on 2-ship MiG-31s, bullseye 040, 100 miles, 32,000. So 37 miles out, and the MiG-31s have actually already shot at me, which is pretty unusual, because they shouldn't even really be able to burn through my jammer. But I don't panic. Like I said, they're very far out, so I've got time to defeat their missiles, and you can see they've already lost track. So a little bit of puffs of chaff and some jamming, and those missiles have already gone stupid. So I pitch up for a loft shot, and I switch over to Twiz mode, which is going to allow me to fire off 2 missiles on their group, one onto each of their targets. There's Fox 3 times 2. And then in attack view, you can see I crank to the right, put the targets off to the left gimbal. And you can see their missiles are already just plunging into the ground, stupid. And I continue to support my missiles to the pit bull. And during that lofting process, I also climbed up above 40,000. So that means I've got about 10,000 feet to just come down a little bit, dive, recover some airspeed while I support my missiles, and then I'm going to have a lot of speed to go cold if I need to drag them or drag any missiles that they shoot. And I've got the pit bull, so I'm coming cold now. Full burn, dragging, and you can see on the attack view my missiles, both of them successfully hit the MiG-31s. So we're back in the cockpit view here. I'm watching the RWR, hoping that those contacts go dark here. And I've also hit my Joker 2, so I ditch my wing bags and I'm down to internal fuel, which is just a little bit over 10,000. The MiG-31s disappear from my RWR, so at this point I'm thinking I probably splashed them, so I'm going to give it a few seconds before I actually request a vector to threat. Sometimes you need to give it some time to update. But while I'm flowing back west towards my friendly space, I get some Nails 2-9 spikes, so I go ahead and request a vector to threat.
Panther 1, Sentry 1, nearest hospital, MiG-29, 2-ship, bullseye, 035, 120 miles, 25,000.
So Sentry calls out the nearest contacts are actually more in the direction of my target area, so I'm kind of thinking now that the 29s to my 6 are either too far away to be a factor, or they're probably just some kind of ground attack aircraft that have the same radar, like Su-39s or something like that. So I'm pressing in now on target steer point 11 because I'm so close. I'm only 22 miles out, and there, sure enough, are the contacts, the nearest MiG-29s that Sentry just called out for me.
Panther 1-1, Sentry 1, contact confirmed hostile.
Now you can see pretty clearly on the HSD that they're not actually tracking hot on me right now. They're actually sort of beaming, and I'm so close to the target steer point. I'm only 17 miles out. I'm at 31,000. I'm supersonic. So I switched to air-to-ground mode, and I want to pickle off my bombs and then turn in hot on the MiGs. I'm 15 seconds out from the first drop queue. I've got my ripple set on 2. I've actually got it set on 22, but that's okay. And spacing to 999 feet. And the idea is, since these are assigned target steer points, all you got to do is pickle once onto the first target steer point and then switch to the other target steer point before the next pickle, the automated pickle, and both bombs should drop and successfully track onto the runways. So there, both have been dropped on steer points 11 and 12, and I come off left and immediately go into air-to-air mode, and the nails to the 29s immediately pick me up and start engaging.
Magic Panther 3, Fox 3, MiG-29, Bullseye 032, 120, 24,000.
So you can see attack view there. My GBU is still dropping. They still have a long way to go to hit the airbase. The airbase, unfortunately, is not visible in attack view, but it's out there, I assure you. So right now I've cranked left, put the MiG-29s on my right gimbal. At this point in time in the mission, I actually think it's just a singleton MiG-29. I only saw one spike in the RWR. Otherwise, I probably would have pickled off both missiles on the group. And now I've gotten the pit bull, so I'm coming cold, dragging. I've got extremely high speed and altitude. The missile successfully impacts.
Sentry 1, Panther 1-1. Request vector to threat.
Panther 1, Sentry 1, near threat, MiG-29, 2 ship bearing 060, 15 miles, 19,000.
So at this point, I'm just dragging. I'm down to 7,800 pounds of gas, one long stick. I think I've probably splashed one of the 29s. It's apparent to me now that there's 2 of them out there. I think I've splashed one. I'm not totally sure though. I'm probably just gonna RTB anyway at this point because I've successfully done my mission. I only have 1 missile left anyway. But as I'm doing that, I pick up a B on my RWR, which indicates a heavy bombers, and I really, really want to take out these heavy bombers if possible. Now that I've delivered my payload, my mindset switches to taking out any kind of attack aircraft or bombers I can. I don't give a flying hoot about MiG-29s or flankers or anything anymore, because that doesn't really do any good. But taking out a bomber flight, before they actually reach our flot and drop some kind of bombs, like this is exactly the kind of thing that will help us turn the tide in the war. So I really, really want to take out these bombers for sure, if it's safe to do so. But I'm proceeding with caution. I'm just keeping the contacts off my right gimbal here. Got extremely high Mach 1.6 plus and accelerating at 37,000. And I'm just trying to see if they have a fighter escort or what's going on. It definitely seems to be more than 2 contacts out there, so I'm trying to figure out if it's a 4-ship group of bombers or a 2-ship escorted by 2-ship fighters. I'm just trying to figure out what the situation is here. Sentry is not really helping me much. It's just saying hostiles, which, I already know. I'm 30 miles out from the nearest group of contacts, and then I get a Nails 2-9 from that direction. So unfortunately, it looks like they have a fighter escort. At this time, I believe it's a different group than the one that I already engaged. And I only have 1 missile to take out 2 MiG-29s, but I don't have time to worry about that right now. I just put an AIM-120 downrange, hoping to splash one of these MiG-29s, and then I'll reevaluate. There's nothing else I can do. I can't generate more missiles, so I have to work with what I have. So as usual, I crank left, put the MiG-29s on the gimbal, support to the pit bull, and then turn cold, popping chaff in case any missiles are inbound. I want to spoof those missiles before they actually pit bull on me. And I splash one of the MiG-29s. One of them is still out there.
Panther 1, Sentry 1, near threat, MiG-29, 2-ship bearing 070, 15 miles, 20,000.
So right now I'm just dragging at Mach 1.7, heading back west towards my air bases. I'm Winchester for everything except for guns. trying to decide if I should just call it quits, RTB, or if there's any possible way I can turn back in and get these bombers, you know, without getting engaged by the MiG-29. The MiG-29s have gone dark on my RWR. I'm naked to my 6 except for the bomber group. So I come out of Afterburner. I'm just at Buster now. And again, I'm trying to feel out the situation, trying to figure out what I should do. If it's safe to kind of turn back in. I've still got 4,600 pounds of fuel. I'm pretty close to one of the steer points on my flight plan, and my steer points are conveniently, I drag them right over alternate air bases. So I do have an alternate airfield pretty close below me, below the clouds. If I do get in trouble or I need to burn some gas, I can fly down there and fuel up.
Panther 1-1, Sentry 1. Pictures multiple groups. Nearest hostile at bullseye 020, 140 miles, 25,000.
So I start like a wide right-hand turn at mill power back in towards the group. Just trying to, you know, sneak my nose back in and get a peek at them with my radar, reassess the situation, see if the MiG-29 fighter escort is still with them or what's going on. I mean, I don't even know for sure if that MiG-29 is a fighter escort at this point, or if it just happened to coincidentally be in the airspace at that time, right? So there is a chance that it's wandered off and that it's not staying with the bomber package. So there's the group. And I get lock on a contact about 40 miles out of 25,000.
Sentry 1, Panther 1-1. Declare.
Panther 1-1, Sentry 1. Contact confirmed hostile. ID'd as fighter.
Now all Sentry tells me is that it's a fighter. It's 33 miles out. I look at my HSD, and unfortunately, it looks like it's nose hot on me from the geometry, even though I'm not getting any 2.9 spike. But the fact that Sentry called it out as a fighter is enough to scare me off of it, so I turn cold. But as you can see on the TAC view, it's actually just the Su-39. The MiG-29 is actually way off to the left, which is south there. So again, I'm not sure if it's actually escorting this group, but for whatever, you know, it's cold, or not cold, but it's it looks like it's no factor right now.
MiG-29, Singleton, bullseye 020, 120 miles.
It looks like it's no factor, but the truth of the matter is it's kind of irrelevant. Even if I did turn in hot on that Su-39 and that bomber group, the MiG-29 is close enough that it would probably engage me anyway. So it actually, it's just kind of funny that I got spooked off by a Su-39. It's funny, but you know, in the end, it probably wouldn't have mattered anyway, even if the MiG-29 was directly with that package. So again, I'm just trying to stay ahead of the bomber's flight path. In a way, I'm sort of following them, but following them from in front of them, and just trying to stay close to the group without losing them, right? I'm just trying to almost like drag them back into my airspace, hoping that an opportunity arises for me to turn back in and gun them, right? So again, I start another right-hand turn back into the group, just trying to conserve gas at military power here, and again, get another feel of the situation here, see if that 29 is still out there, or you know, if I can sneak my way in close, engage it, or engage the bombers.
Bingo, bingo.
It's only 30 miles away at this point. It doesn't seem to be hot on me or looking at me. So at this point, I'm kind of wondering, I wonder if I can sneak in, get close enough that it won't Fox 3 at me, and maybe I can get into a dogfight with it, kill it with guns, kill the bombers, and then land at the alternate airbase at the steer point right below us. You know, it's probably a stupid decision. I've only got 4,000 pounds of gas, and that almost never goes right. Dogfights usually they almost always burn more gas than you think they will. But, you know, rules are made to be broken. But as I'm turning in, we get some kind of spike, like a nails 2.9 from that direction, and I get scared off again. Now, on TAC view, I'm not really sure where that spike came from. I'm not sure if it was the Su-39 or the MiG-29 beyond them. It might have been the Su-39, and that's the challenging part of flying for Blue Side is Red Force. So many Red Force aircrafts have a 2.9 signature in the RWR. MiG-29s, Su-27s, Su-32s, Su-39s, hostile F-16s. Basically, any kind of, you know, multi-role fighter gives you a 2.9 spike, so you never know exactly what is out there, what's locking you. You know, and to play it safe, you have to assume that it's something that can fire Fox 3s at you. So again, I'm just continuing to drag back towards the northwest, trying to stay close to the bomber group, but not too close, just waiting for that window to open where I can maybe sneak in and gun them. So I'm naked to my 6 for any kind of 2.9 spikes. It's just the bomber group again. And again, just like the last couple of, you know, instances, I'm trying to wonder, well, can I turn back in? Let's take another peek. You know, reassess the situation. So I'm making a left-hand turn back into the bomber's flight path. And I'm going to try to check it out again and see if a new window has opened up.
Sentry, 1 Panther, 1-1.
37 miles out from the bombers, and there's 2 contacts in front that I believe might be a fighter escort. I'm actually a little bit confused right now at this point in the flight. Like, why is there's 2? Because I thought there was only 1 MiG-29 escort out there. I wasn't aware that there's also a Su-39, which is just a ground pounder. You know, it's nothing to worry about. It can't actually hurt me. But yeah, so I'm a little bit confused, but I'm just trying to proceed with caution, stay on the CATA intercept here. You know, intercepting them at military power, just trying to see if I get engaged or spiked by any kind of 2.9 spike. You can see here in TAC view, I'm actually locked on the Su-39 right now, with the bombers in trail by, I don't know, it looks like about 10 to 15 miles. And the MiG-29 is actually further off to the south, probably 40, 45 miles away from me.
Python 1-1. Python 1-2.
At this point, I'm trying to get my TGP up. I'm only 13 miles away from the target, so I'm trying to get a VID on them since Sentry isn't really helping me. But they're probably just below the cloud layer. I can't see anything, and the 29 spikes are back. And engaging me hard here, or spiking me hard, so it forces me off cold again at full burn, dragging back to the west or the northwest, keeping the bomber packaged to my 6. And you can see in the TAC view, it's the MiG-29 that has definitely turned hot on me. And it's closing actually pretty hard at I think it's Mach 1.2 or Mach 1.3, so it's coming after me pretty good. And I'm dragging almost straight north at this point. And just further north of us, you can see some friendly F-16s departing from their airbase. So that's Python flight and Weasel flight, human players that are going to become a factor later on in this video.
Weasel 1 Python.
Now the MiG-29 is actually started to give up pursuit a little bit here. It's turning off me, it's decelerating and hooking back in towards the bomber group, knowing that it's not going to catch me anymore.
Panther 1, Sentry 1, nearest threat, MiG-29, Simpleton, bearing 160, 15 miles, 24,000.
At this point, the Nails 29 has disappeared from my RWR again. So again, I'm trying to reevaluate the situation here, but it's not looking good at this point. I've burned a lot of gas. I'm down to 2,600 pounds, and the MiG-29 just does not seem to be leaving the vicinity of that bomber group. But I'm stubborn and I'm not willing to give up yet, so
Weasel 1 Python.
I'm staying with the group and just continuing to look for a window until I actually, I'm forced to make a decision to RTB or something.
Bingo, bingo.
Weasel 1-1. Weasel 1-2. Weasel 1 Python. Go for Weasel. Yeah, Weasel got MiG-29 50 miles to the east. We're going to be engaging. If you guys can flex to the west to stay out of their range, that'd be good. Okay, Weasel 1 copies.
Now, Weasel and Python haven't provided any bullseyes yet in the communication between each other, so I'm not exactly sure where they are. They could be taken out of Barry, further south, in a completely different area of the map. I'm not really sure, but I do have a suspicion that they're talking about the same MiG-29 that I'm talking about. They're probably coming out of Pula, and they're probably, engaging the same group. And I'm thinking, well, I might actually be able to use them in this situation and get them to destroy the MiG-29 for me.
Python, Weasel. Go for Python. Yeah, Python's, or Weasel's got 29 nails, 25 nails, are left 11, bearing 115. Yeah, that's the group Python's heading toward.
MiG-29 has turned back in hot on me again. And Weasel and Python still haven't provided any bullseyes, so I decided to reach out to them through the UHF and try to
Python
coordinate.
1, Panther 1.
Yeah, go for Python.
Hey, Python, Panther here. Can you give me a rough bullseye to that 29 that you're engaging?
Yeah, stand by.
Now, at this point in time, Python is actually locked on to the Su-39 of the group. And they're just popping off a missile on him right now, which is going to be a very easy kill for them because I think they're only 5 to 10 miles away. And the MiG-29 right now is currently stuck right in the middle of Python flight and my flight, which is Panther. And it actually starts to turn in on Python flight here. So Python 3 is quiet right now in the comms, probably because they're talking amongst
And
themselves.
Fox 3, MiG-29, 351, 120
trying to
miles, 29,000.
trying to sort who the shooter is on the MiG-29. So they put a Fox 3 outbound on the MiG-29. And then you can see in the TAC feed here, the MiG-29 also gets a shot off on Python 1-1.
All right, Panther 1 copies.
Unfortunately, Python 1-1 gets a little bit too close and inside of its minimum board range and isn't able to defeat the inbound R-77 in
Python
time.
and Weasel, Panther here. There's also a group of bombers, I think, being escorted by those 29s. I can take out the bombers with my guns. If you guys can take down the MiG-29s, I'm Winchester for everything else.
And the MiG-29 is splashed at this point, as well as Python 1-1.
Cowboy, I see a shoot. Mayday, airman down. Bullseye, 350.
Now at this point, Python 1-2 pops off a slammer on the bomber group,
Shoot spotted.
probably thinking that they're MiG-29.
Too long.
Fox 3 long.
29. 2 o'clock.
Yeah, his wingman just got splashed. All he knows is he sees hostile radar contacts and they're closing on him, so he makes a decision to shoot real quick and then, you know, ask questions later.
Panther 1 here. I think those are the bomber groups at Bullseye 353115. Believe the MiG-29 is splashed. I can take out the bombers with my guns if you guys want. I'm Winchester otherwise, and then RTB after that.
Python, yep, this is Python 1-2. Affirm. I think the 2 bombers are there, yep. The MiG-29s are gone on my RWR.
All right, Panther 1 copies. I'm going to commit on those bombers then. Bullseye 35111 17,000.
Python 1-2 copies.
Yeah, Python 1-2, they're right off the nose at 17,000.
Python, Panther 1.
Python's going to detach, break.
The idea here is I want Python and Weasel to save their weapons and fuel. I know that they probably have a mission of their own with their own objectives, and I don't want them to waste resources on these bombers. That's why I really want to be the guy to take them out here, because, you know, they're easy to take out with guns, so there's no reason why I shouldn't be the one to do it. And it's also, you know, selfishly, I want to be the one to take them out just because I've been dogging these bombers for so long, so I really want the satisfaction of killing them.
Bingo, bingo.
Now the bombers, now that they don't have an escort anymore, they've actually turned cold and are headed back east, trying to escape. And I'm pretty low on fuel, so I'm following them at mill power, 8 miles in trail, with a closure rate of only about 250 or so.
Yeah, Panther 1, Buddy Spike, Bullseye, 351 unknown miles.
Copy that out. That's Buddy Lock.
Now at this point I actually go full burn. Even though I only have 1,500 pounds of gas, my closure rate is just not high enough on the bombers. And as you can see on the HSD, they're almost directly over top of one of my alternate airfields anyway, that steer point. They're flowing right towards it. So the idea here is I'm just going to go full burn, catch up to these guys, splash them with guns, and then land at the alternate directly below them.
Python 1-2, Weasel 1-1.
Python 1-2.
Yeah, copy, Python Weasel 1 is, push.
Python 1-2 copies.
Copy that, you can escort us in.
2. Python 1-2 copies.
Okay, Weasel 1 copies.
Lock. Caution.
Be advised, only thing, so right now, up is the 2 bombers.
Okay, copy that. It looked like, Panther was engaging them.
Yeah, copy. Panther 1 is splashed 1 bomber on the second now.
Copy that.
All right, Panther 2 splash 2. Grand Slam bombers.
And just like that, both bombers are down, and I'm directly over the airbase. You'll actually see almost immediately the runway lights become visible in the fog. So that's how close I am to it, almost like I planned it. And there are the lights up ahead.
All right, Python and Weasel, Panther 1, thanks for the assistance. I'm going to refuel with the alternate and then RTB.
Yeah, day, Weasel 1's out.
Python 1-2 copies.
I've got a little bit too much speed for this approach, so I decided to break off and pull a 360-degree turn to the right and bleed off about 100 knots of speed in the process to make the landing a little bit, easier.
Spike 350, 180 miles. Body lock, body lock.
Python 1, you have contact?
Negative, body lock. WISA 1-1, get you clear.
So all in all, that was a pretty good flight. For me, I did a lot of damage out there. Banjaluka was brought down to 0%, which means no more Su-25 flights are going to be flying for at least the next few hours while that base gets repaired. As well as I got 6 air-to-air kills, so 2 MiG-31s, 2 MiG-29s, and 2 heavy bombers Tu-22s with the guns, thanks to the help from Weasel and Python. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And the commentary, thanks for watching, and leave your comments and your feedback below.